Hey everyone, this is Dr. Bebop here for my fourth video, and today I'm going to talk about every Titan in the Godzilla franchise. I will go into detail about the main Titans as of the movie Godzilla released in 2014. I won't talk much about the ones from the graphic novels, nor the previous Titans from the Japanese version of Godzilla. My main goal of this video is to prepare you all before watching any Godzilla movie, such as the upcoming Godzilla 4 movie in 2024. I hope you all find this video helpful in understanding the basics and the various Titans in this franchise. As always, please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for my future videos. First of all, throughout this video, I might refer to the Godzilla franchise as the Monsterverse, which is the alternative name. Let me explain what a Titan is in the Monsterverse. A Titan is an ancient, gigantic creature that existed way before the human race. They are all enormous, but they also have a wide range of sizes. The smallest ones are the sizes of tall trees, but the largest ones are the sizes of mountains. So now, I'll go over the various Titans and their roles in this franchise. The most well-known and famous Titan of all is Godzilla. He stands at a whopping 393 feet tall, and is best known for its atomic breath. Being 355 feet in 2014, he has grown a lot since then. The atomic breath consists of both intense heat as well as lots of radiation. Godzilla is famous for being the main protagonist of all the movies and defeating all the enemies that he encounters. So far in the Monsterverse franchise, he has defeated the Mutos, Ghidorah, and Mecha Godzilla. In case you didn't know, Godzilla actually does not have a kind side towards humanity, and he just wants to protect the world from any possible threat. Being enormous in size, Godzilla uses mostly brute force and strength to fight enemies. In order to do this, he uses a lot of his arms, which are relatively smaller compared to other Titans, but still playing an important role in fending off foes. Being this powerful, Godzilla is well known as the king of the monsters, and he has definitely lived up to that title. All of the Titans bow down to this immense creature, except for one. That one Titan who doesn't bow down to Godzilla is none other than King Kong, also simply known as Kong. Kong is essentially an enormous ape, but he's more than just that. Kong is one of the last of his kind. This species used to live in what is called the Hollow Earth, but now most of them have died. However, there is speculation that some are still alive, and this theory will be explored in the next Kong movie. Kong also wields a unique battle axe, which he discovered in the movie Godzilla vs. Kong, released in 2021. This axe was crafted from an ancient Godzilla's back spike. The Godzilla species and Kong species were ancient enemies that were always engaged in war against one another. If you watched 2017's Kong Skull Island, Kong was only about 104 feet tall. However, this was only Kong's juvenile form, when he was a kid. As the years passed, Kong grew significantly, and in the movie Godzilla vs. Kong, he caught up to Godzilla's height and was 393 feet tall. This was Kong's final adult form. It is very likely that there will be a Kong solo movie within the next couple of years. King Ghidorah, also known as Ghidorah or Monster Zero, is a three-headed, dragon-like creature that came from outer space. Before being broken free, Ghidorah was frozen in ice in Antarctica, likely from a past encounter with Godzilla. This is because it's easy to see Godzilla's angry expression as soon as he realizes that Ghidorah was free once again. Ghidorah also wields two long tails with sharp spikes at each of the ends. Appearing in the movie Godzilla King of the Monsters, it completely outsizes Godzilla himself. Ghidorah stands at a 521 feet tall and has a 574 feet wingspan. In fact, Ghidorah was so powerful that it took the combined effort of both Godzilla and Mothra, another Titan, to defeat him. At the end of the movie, it was discovered that one of its heads was decimated, and the second one was bought by Alan Jonah, who is essentially a mercenary leader and eco-terrorist that released all the Titans from their bunkers in order to quote-unquote restore peace to the world. The third head was used to control the body of a man-made mechanical creature called Mecha Godzilla. Mothra is basically a moth or butterfly on steroids. She is also known as the Queen of the Titans, appearing in countless Godzilla movies in the past. She has always been Godzilla's ally, and in Godzilla King of the Monsters, that was exactly what happened. Mothra played a huge role in Ghidorah's defeat, as she gave all her life energy to Godzilla to empower him to fight Ghidorah. At the time, Godzilla was getting battered by Ghidorah in their fight in Boston, Massachusetts. However, due to the help of Mothra, Godzilla was able to unlock a new ability, the Nuclear Pulse, and obliterate Ghidorah. However, Mothra died in the process, but there is speculation that another Mothra offspring may appear in the franchise again. Rodan is a volcanic bird-like creature that has its name meaning Fire Demon. He appeared in the movie Godzilla King of the Monsters as well. Besides the deadly beak that can even crush helicopters, Rodan also has sharp talons at the ends of each claw. In addition, Rodan's skin is made out of molten rock and lava. Rodan is 154 feet tall and has a wingspan of 871 feet. Rodan was originally contained in the Isla de Mara in Mexico. When he broke free, Rodan caused the volcano he was in to erupt. Rodan also has incredibly powerful wings that can ruin an entire city just by its movement. As depicted in the Monsterverse, Rodan was seen as a bandwagon. This is because Rodan used to be an ally to Godzilla in the past. However, when Ghidorah took over the alpha position in King of the Monsters, Rodan betrayed Godzilla and sided with Ghidorah. Finally, at the end of the movie, when Godzilla kills Ghidorah, Rodan once again allied with Godzilla. Despite this, Rodan might play a decent role in the next Godzilla movie. Mecha Godzilla is a robot counterpart to Godzilla. It was built by the company Apex Cybernetics, led by Walter Simmons and Ren Sarazawa. The consciousness of one of Ghidorah's heads, nicknamed Kevin, was used to control the body of the mechanized beast. However, the consciousness soon became too overwhelming, and Mecha Godzilla went rogue. Mecha Godzilla wields several unique weapons, one of them being a deadly counterpart to Godzilla's blue atomic breath. This is none other than his proton scream, which may even be more powerful than Godzilla's original version. This is because it was able to easily slice through a skull crawler with only 40% power. When it fought against Godzilla in Hong Kong, the proton scream actually overcame the atomic breath. While it is true that Godzilla was probably already tired due to his previous fights against Kong, that doesn't take away from the fact that Mecha Godzilla completely demolished Godzilla in that fight. Mecha Godzilla also has a drill spear at the end of his tail, which itself is incredibly dangerous. However, at the end, Mecha Godzilla was destroyed by the combined efforts of Godzilla and Kong, as they teamed up to tear apart the mechanized beast, limb from limb. The Muto, which stands for a massive unidentified terrestrial organism, appeared in 2014's Godzilla. In that movie, it was the main antagonist and Godzilla had to face two of them, the male and female versions. The Muto has a red streak across both of its eye regions, and has multiple pairs of arms and legs that are all hooked at the bottom. The male version is much smaller than the female and has a pair of wings that help it fly. The female is about the same size as Godzilla that time, about 355 feet tall. Keep in mind, Godzilla had just emerged from the ocean and had not come out of the water since 1954, so Godzilla was at a huge disadvantage. However, Godzilla was able to kill the male Muto by tricking it into being speared by the sharp edge of a skyscraper. The female Muto was killed via Godzilla's famous finishing move, his Kiss of Death. The Muto actually reappeared for a few scenes in Godzilla King of the Monsters as well. In those scenes, be aware that this is actually the Queen Muto, not just an average one. It has an entire row of dorsal ridges lining its back, signifying its age and experience. The Warbat is a giant, flying, serpent-like creature that is 428 feet long, making it longer than the heights of both Godzilla and Kong. They are most similar to king cobras in the sense that they have a snake-like body, sharp and serrated teeth, and a red hooded structure that also acts as wings. They appeared in Godzilla vs. Kong and live in the Hollow Earth. When Kong ventured into the Hollow Earth, he was met by two Warbats. He threw one of them onto a jagged rock and impaled its head. For the second, he was actually losing at first. It was being crushed by the compressing and tightening of his slithery body. Finally, via human help, he managed to break free from his grasp and pummel it to its death. If the next Godzilla movie in 2024 goes more into the details of the Hollow Earth, you can be sure that the Warbats will be there. So you can see that the Warbats are strong, but they don't pose a huge threat to other titans like Kong. Now I'll talk about some lesser known titans that play unique roles in this franchise, starting with Behemoth. Behemoth looks like a combination of an ape and a mammoth. The reason being, it has an ape-like body structure that goes along with two gigantic tusks that protrude similar to a mammoth's. He also walks on his knuckles, mirroring an ape's. In addition to this, Behemoth has a short, tapir-like trunk and has incredibly small ears. Despite all of this, Behemoth is relatively docile and peaceful compared to the other titans, and isn't hostile until provoked. He was originally discovered in Brazil, where cave paintings of him were also found. Despite appearing numerous times throughout King of the Monsters in a graphic novel, it is unlikely that Behemoth will play a decent role in the next movie. Methuselah is a massive creature that stands at 322 feet tall. Before being awakened by Ghidorah's alpha call in the events of Godzilla King of the Monsters, Methuselah was dormant and lived in the crust of the earth. On top of his back were huge mountains and forests, and when it rested, its back camouflaged with the surroundings, which in this case was Munich, Germany. In fact, Methuselah is believed to be the oldest titan, preceding both Ghidorah and Godzilla by a few thousand years. His whole body is covered with nature, and this adds to his true curved horns that protrude from the side of his head. Methuselah, just like Behemoth, is very docile and peaceful, but won't play a huge role in any of the future MonsterVerse movies. The Skullcrawler appeared in Kong Skull Island. It was part of a brief but gruesome scene in Godzilla vs. Kong. It is 100 to 200 feet long and around 95 feet tall. This makes it one of the smaller titans in the franchise. Its head has a skull-like feature attached to it, which is how it got its name. The Skullcrawler's method of movement is its two muscular limbs at the sides of his body. It also wields a long tail to balance his weight, and in Kong Skull Island, the Skullcrawlers were the main antagonists, with the final one being killed by juvenile Kong via disembowelment. In Godzilla vs. Kong, a red and green Skullcrawler was introduced, but not for long. It was actually a test subject for the powerful Mecha Godzilla, and was slaughtered by Mecha Godzilla's proton screen. This scene became one of the most gruesome Titan deaths ever. Overall, the Skullcrawlers are definitely a deadly enemy, but are not that formidable compared to other Titans. Finally, we come to Scylla, which is a spider-like Titan that stands at 341 feet tall. In reality, it is a giant armored cephalopod that wields 6 long legs with sharp spikes at the ends. In addition to this, Scylla has many individual tentacles coming from its mouth region that are used to pick up and eat potential food. It appeared in Godzilla King of the Monsters, in the graphic novel Godzilla Dominion. Scylla was originally living beneath the desert with nearby oil rigs in Sedona, Arizona before awakening. In the graphic novel, it was discovered that Scylla had attacked a naval vessel near the coast of Georgia in order to absorb radiation from a nuclear bomb. Scylla will likely play a small role, if any, in the next Godzilla movie. And that wraps up my video on all Titans in the Godzilla franchise explained. I hope you all enjoyed my video, and as always, please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell if you liked it. With this information, I hope it will help you all understand the basics of the Godzilla franchise and the various Titans that make it up. This is Dr. B-Ball, signing off.